Ray here from the Rookie Runners Podcast with a Chicago Marathon recap. As many of you know, I ran the Chicago Marathon this past weekend. Had a fantastic time, enjoyed the city. First, I have to say, Chicago is an amazing city. First, a little backgrounder on my running journey. I was a track athlete in high school, but mainly a sprinter. I ran the 400 meters as well as the 110-meter hurdles. And after high school, I decided to hang up my spikes and do other things, such as raise a family and pursue other things, career, etc. About 7 years ago, my daughter invited me to run a 5K with her. I hesitantly said yes. I did run the 5K, and I was immediately hooked on running and never stopped running ever since. And here I am 7 years later. So over the 7 years, I've progressively ramped up my mileage as well as the distances I became comfortable with. So in 2020, I ran my first marathon. That was after having run about a dozen half marathons. I felt comfortable enough to, that was a fish that just jumped out. I was comfortable enough to give the marathon a try. But my first marathon was virtual. It was in 2020, and it was during the pandemic, and there were no live races happening. So I ran the Shamrock Marathon virtually. That was marathon number one. And marathon number two was also in 2020. I ran the Marine Corps Marathon virtually. My first live marathon was the Richmond Marathon, which happened in 2021. And that was an amazing race. It was my first live marathon experience. And that's where I achieved my best time, which was 4 hours and 30 minutes, which was pretty good, being a rookie marathoner, shall we say. And progressing from there, I ran the Shamrock Marathon in 2022. That was marathon number 4. And then from there, I ran New York City also in 2022. Also ran New York City in 2023. My first New York experience was to pace my daughter, which I did successfully, and she achieved a 17-minute PR in the New York City Marathon. Go Jen. And the following year, I ran it on my own for myself. And which brings us now to marathon number 7. But I went into Chicago with high expectations. I had trained well, I felt great, I had increased strength training, I had increased mileage somewhat, and I felt well prepared. I knew that I would get a personal best. I went in there with the mindset, mindset is very important, that I would get a personal best. I had no doubt. But as it goes, as with sports, as in life, sometimes you don't necessarily get what you plan. So let's recap the race. So I was in the corral, ready. I felt strong. I felt prepared. I was lucky to be sharing the same corral as my friend Cheryl. She's the marathon master on YouTube. Check out her channel. She has some great content. And we chit-chatted the minutes before the race about the race strategy and how we were feeling, and it was extremely positive. I started the race, I felt strong, and I looked at my watch. I was on pace. The first 15, 16 miles, I was perfectly on pace. My girl Helena was there cheering me on. She cheered me on at mile 2. She had the poster. It was great. I felt motivated. She went to other mile markers and was there for me. And the crowd support in Chicago was just simply amazing. I thought the New York City crowd was great, but Chicago, you guys rocked it. When I got to mile 17, I said, hey, this is going to be a piece of cake. We're going to finish at goal time, but that was not to be the case. When I got to mile 21, 22, everything just kind of slowed down. I was moving, but not moving, or unable, as I felt, to move at the pace that I wanted to move. I struggled, but it didn't happen for me, and that's okay. It happens to the best. It happens to the elites. It happens to the pros. Some people have to DNF, which is did not finish. Luckily, I didn't have to get to that. I stayed strong and finished and got the medal. It was a very
Thank you so much.
happy time for me. They say that less than 1% of the population actually have run a marathon. And I think anybody who runs a marathon should be proud that they've accomplished such a worthy goal, regardless of how long it took you to get there. And just the fact that you finished, you should give yourself space to be proud and to be happy of what you've accomplished. The person that ran a 3 or 5 marathon probably wished they had run a sub 3. The person that ran a 4:15 marathon probably wished they had did a sub 4. So there's always ways to improve and get better, but the best thing is to compete with yourself and not compare yourselves to others, because there are going to be guys out there that are doing the sub 3s or they're doing the sub 2:45s, and there are going to be guys out there that are in the 4s, in the 5s, even the 6s. You still matter. It's still your pace, your race, your accomplishment, and for whatever reason you're running, keep that in mind. Find your why, and your why will drive you forward. My why is health and fitness. It is to inspire others to do the same, to keep running for life, and become a better version of ourselves, essentially, right? When we run, we become. And that's what I've learned over the years. But over the last 7 marathons, I've learned quite a bit, and I plan to put that knowledge to work for me and in order to continue to improve. I think the best is yet to come. I have it in me to achieve a personal best and to continue to run to the best of my ability. My biggest goal is to do all 6 world major marathons. I have 2 stars now, 4 to go, and I think that's in the making. It's just going to require consistency and focus, and never, ever giving up. At what mile marker were you there? Mile 2, 2.5, and 14. I have to tell you, you being there, cheering me on, made a difference. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I love that sign that you made. I still have I have a couple photos of that sign, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that sign. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We don't run, especially marathons. We don't run marathons alone. Everyone in our lives makes a difference, whether it's family, friends that believe in us, that gives us the motivation that we need. And I think there's an old saying, if you want to run a short distance, run alone. Mm-hmm. But if you want to run far, run together. And that's what we're getting. We're both marathoners. How many marathons have you run so far?
13.
13 marathons. You got me beat.
Not for long.
Yeah, I'm at marathon number 7, and as I've given you guys my background, it's been, those 7 marathons have been run since 2020. Started running marathons then, and we are now in 2024. That's a huge accomplishment as far as I'm concerned. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of
you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm proud of where I've been, and compared. Sometimes I compare myself from 5 years ago. I'm almost unrecognizable. That's how much you can have an impact on how on self-improvement. Isn't that something? Self-improvement, consistency. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's an inside job. It's not about looking for it on the outside, but look for that strength, that courage, that joy from the inside. That's where it comes from. Yeah, and I think if you focus on that, that's what will make you successful, right? Mm-hmm. And we're about to revamp our training, right? Are we doing that?
Yeah.
So we can set some new goals.
Yes.
Yep. We're not going to share those goals yet. We're going to keep them.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. And we will certainly
Get back to you.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that. We'll get back to you on that. But Chicago is glorious. Thank you again for being there for me. Thank you. And we did that architectural tour as well.
Correct.
And that, you know, if you go to Chicago, make sure you do an architectural tour. I think you'll appreciate Chicago even more to know some of Chicago's history and how it became the great city that it is. Also, shout out to the Chicago Marathon organizers, to all the volunteers. Everyone was just super awesome. Even our hotel, you know, they did a great job. I have no complaints. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to rate the experience a 9. How about you?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, let's go with 9. Why didn't we give it a 10 though?
There might be something better.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There's always room for improvement, right? There's always room for improvement, so we're going to keep it at a 9 out of 10. But Chicago, hope to see you again sometime, and the best is yet to come.
But